Going? How is everyone?
Good.
Anything exciting happened since I saw you last? Which I wasn't here last week, so how did it go?
It was good.
It was awful. Alan said it was good. Olivia says awful.
When you're gone,
I was like, what did we do last week, Logan?
Yeah,
It was fantastic.
I know. But the worst is that today's business builder. So how much better is it going to be? I don't know.
It has to be better than Dotler.
Does it?
Come on.
Okay, good. Good.
That was the worst.
Well, anything exciting? Anybody have anything exciting to share?
I closed 2 deals.
Nice. Good job. That's awesome. Congrats. Now what's next?
Hopefully 2 more.
All right, good. I like that. Good. Anyone else? Anything exciting?
I got a dialer.
Nice. Which one did you do?
I got the Mojo triple line.
Mojo. Nice. Awesome. Good. That's good.
I got an appointment from door knocking.
Did you? Good job. That's awesome. Congrats. Good job.
I got an appointment from Red X.
Oh, did you? From a for sale by owner. Good job. That's awesome. Congrats. Cool. All right. Well, any questions before we get going? All right. Who's going first? Oh, go ahead, Brad.
Question.
Yeah.
Business Builder and Zap. We're gonna cover the differences
We're going to talk about that today.
because I've seen Zap show up, but I haven't seen Business Builder.
Okay. We'll talk about that today for sure. So, who's going first? Keelan?
Yeah.
All right. Come on up.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
Good? Yes. I'm Keely with Vanguard. I'm up on the 4th floor. We are partnered with Century 21 on all the things. We love to be a resource for you guys to be able to provide you with the answers. Like if you have any questions on tricky things on like what's required or whatever, we have somebody who knows the answer. I might not know the answer, but I know who will. So if you have questions, even if you just need to take a quick break from your desk, walk around, come upstairs and say hi, we'd love to see you up there. Have you guys been hounded about wire fraud? Yes? Good. Because it is they're getting so sneaky. Have you seen one of the latest things that we've gotten? Do you have a little red marker? Right here. So the other day, somebody sent an email, and so our email is the suffix. That's our email right there. After the actual names. Somebody sent it like this.
Yeah. Made the INL.
Yeah. And then somebody tried to say, hey, send us your wire something not to you guys, but to your client. And so that's, like, they're just littlest little things. Be on your guard. Make sure you educate your clients. Because you guys are all aware and you're up on it. But if your buyer or your seller isn't aware, they're going to get hosed. And I think as far as I've seen, nobody's recovered that money. Like, if they fall into the trap of wire fraud, they don't get it back. And it's gone. So, do you guys have any questions?
Just one. I'm sure you covered it before, but I'm dealing with a listing that I know the names of the people who are going to list it, but the property itself may actually be in a family trust. So
Okay.
how do I proceed with that to get preliminary report and stuff? They
The
can
same as
transfer
any,
the
just give
property,
us-
but do I need to send it with the name of the trust or?
We will need all the trust docs so that we can make sure that everything's done correctly, that the proper people to sign it are there to sign. But yeah, I mean, it's just you submit, like with all the other paperwork that you would for, you said as a listing or a buy?
The listing.
For a listing, just like with the REPC, all of that, or the MLS, and then just make sure the trust docs are with it.
So on the MLS, I should put a family trust or something like
I don't know about on the
No, I
MLS.
just use the name.
But
and
when you
put it
submit it, say
family.
this is in a trust.
Yeah.
Either attach the trust docs immediately or we'll provide trust docs ASAP or.
And that would be stuff I give to you. I don't need to put that on there.
But that would come to us. Anything else? Sweet. Have a great class, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Keelan. All right, Jeff.
Just wanted to talk a little bit today. You guys, I know when you start meeting with your clients and do a little bit of pre-approval with them, it's an area that's really of great confusion, and that's called debt-to-income ratio. You guys familiar with debt-to-income ratios? know how to calculate them? Most of you should shake your head and say no, because
No,
it's very
we-
difficult
we
to
let you
calculate.
do that.
Yes, that is the important part there, because there are so many things that go into that. And that's really why I'm bringing this up, is that if you get into the mistake of trying to go through a debt to income calculation with your borrowers, more than likely you'll make a mistake on it, because on our end, depending on the program, that thing can range from 42 on the low end to, we've seen them as high as in the high 50s, depending on how we actually run that to pre-approval through the system. So just be aware that it's a very complicated issue, and if someone comes in and says, look, I don't think I qualify, always ask for someone else to give a second opinion on that, because it really depends on what we're going to throw into that calculation, because not every one of someone's debts will actually go into that calculation, and then determine by the program what that percentage will be. If somebody has really good credit, if they're a good borrower, and we can run them through what's called an AUS, automated underwriting system, that underwriting system doesn't put that much credibility into what that number actually is. They look at all the other things first. That's why we can see some as high as 58, 59%, because they say it's a really good borrower. They make a little bit more money, we're going to let them go ahead and go with the 59% ratio, where you would never look at someone and say, I'm going to qualify you at a 59% ratio. So the big issue here is that if you're actually going out there and someone says, I don't think I qualify, that is on our end, where we're in this thing for a living, we actually have to do quite a bit of research to make sure that someone will qualify from that standpoint. But there's a lot of things that go into that calculation, there's a lot of things that actually are excluded from that calculation. So for the most part, if it's not on a credit report, for the most part, we're not going to include it. So if someone has a debt that doesn't show up on there, we're not going to include it. One exception would be someone has child support, alimony, that would actually be included. So, any questions about that kind of stuff? It can be really confusing even on our side.
So we have a couple of clients that have credit issues where they just don't have a number because they've paid cash forever. And I did that when I was younger until I realized you can't.
Can't need
But
it.
how do you handle that now?
Okay, well, FHA will allow us to build alternative credit, meaning that we'll go out and find sources of payments, and we'll use stuff like utilities, phone bills. They could actually be using a car repayment program that's not feeding into the credit reporting agencies. And we'll build alternative credit ratings. We need to get 4 of those built. And we've done those. It's not real easy to do. And if someone has absolutely no credit, it's a steep hill to climb. But it can be done. A lot of times we'll look for maybe a non-occupant co-borrower to help them to go in and sign on it or something like that. But it is possible to build a credit report. Sometimes what we do, and this is why we want to get a hold of your borrowers as soon as possible, we can build a legitimate credit report in a very short period of time. Someone can go put $400 or $500 in the bank, borrow against that, make the payments on a gas card or something like that, and build a credit fairly quick.
But what's the time frame?
Well, probably 6 months, something
6
like
months?
that.
Okay.
And they need to be really invested in the process. They need to really want to do it.
Cool.
But you know, those are the kind of people that, honestly, they're the best ones because they don't have bad credit, they just don't have good credit. Someone has bad credit, the bad credit can sometimes take a long time to fix.
Okay, thanks.
So, any other questions? Any concerns? Yeah, that's how we feel. DTI is it's a difficult deal. So, if you have any questions, don't be afraid
Brad
to
has
ask.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm working with a buyer who is looking to improve their credit score.
Okay.
I think she said she's around 510. I asked her how long ago it was, a couple months ago, and I asked her, did you get a plan to improve that? And she says no. And so I'm thinking about having one of you guys get in touch with them.
And that's absolutely the path you should take. I will tell you this, that credit repair is a really good tool for someone who's in the high 5s. You start getting the low 5s, high 4s. Credit repair, honestly, this has been my experience. Someone who's in the high 4s, low 5s, they have a history of just being someone who doesn't pay their bills. Whereas someone who's in the mid 5s, upper 5s, they've had a period of maybe they lost their employment, or they had some medical issues, and their credit took a nosedive. But a career poor credit person, it's really hard to bring them back up. One of the reasons is because we go to them to lay out a game plan, they don't follow the plan. They don't want to really improve it because it requires sacrifice and effort.
Yeah.
So don't ever tell somebody they can't do it, but I'm just telling you the reality. If you bring someone to us who's around $500 or 500-point FICO score, generally there's not much to be done with them.
Yeah, because
So we'll try, but
they had a pattern of repeating the mistakes.
They didn't get there overnight.
Yeah.
Someone who has a medical failure in credit generally doesn't go down to 500 because the good credit is pulling them up high enough that it kind of stays there in the upper fives, low six.
Okay.
What about bankruptcies? How long does it take to be able to do both?
Depends on what kind of loan we're going to do. We can go as low as 2 years after discharge. Has to be discharged. Conventional go all the way up to I think it's 7 years, and it's a moving scale depending on the programs. You know, someone who has medical credit issues are easier to overcome than anything else. Any one of you in this room could have perfect credit and tomorrow have a medical bankruptcy. It's literally that easy. So there's some sympathy for medical issues. So medical credit issues can be overcome so much more easier than, hey, I just got myself in trouble. Okay? Yes?
Is FHA the only one you know of that will sort of help to look for alternative credit?
Yes. That's the easy answer. The reality, though, is why would you not want to use FHA? And really the only reason is if the house didn't qualify, and FHA has become much more lenient over the last couple of years in allowing homes to qualify FHA, or the fixes are easy enough to go that route. So for the most part, no, the other ones do not want to see alternative credit built. It's an FHA issue. But most of the time that's going to be sufficient. FHA is a good enough program that most of your houses you're selling nowadays are not being thrown out unless they're condos. I don't overwhelm you with stuff.
So to establish cash credit, like somebody just has vendors that they pay, in other words, utilities and
We have to be able to
cable
prove
and
it.
whatnot,
Have to
is
be able
that a
to prove it.
faster fix than the 60 or 90 days, say, of paying a $500 credit card every month?
Can be, but there again, we're going to take a look at the entire credit situation. And if there's absolutely no bad credit, and say we're actually needing 2 incomes, okay? You got a borrower's got good income or good credit, co-borrower does not. And we need their income, meaning we have to have a credit score for them. In those cases, it may be easier for us just to go out and build that alternative credit and get them to the point where they can buy immediately.
And what kind of number usually comes up from the bill credit score from cash vendors?
You mean a FICO? What
Yeah,
kind of
FICO
FICO
score.
number? You know what? If you build something like that fairly quick, and we throw those things in there. Well, from an FHA standpoint, FHA doesn't care about the FICO score, and I think when we build that alternative credit, we're not going to see a FICO score immediately because there's alternative sources. FHA doesn't care about FICO scores.
That's why they can do that, huh?
Yeah, warehouse lenders do. We're so deep into stuff for us. This is like
You're fine.
This is 6 classes. FHA doesn't care, but the people who fund the warehouse lines who do fund, they do care. But as long as the one borrower has a good credit score, we can get around the other one building up an alternative credit score. Okay? I'm taking in Russ's time, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what would your
They don't want to
recommendation
learn
be on
business,
someone
but-
who is currently employed, working and stuff like that, doesn't own a home, but they're thinking about becoming self-employed? Is that gonna really make it harder if they wanna get a
Yes.
house in the next year or two?
Self-employment is like starting completely over with your employment. You're now a business owner instead of being an employment of somebody who's got an established business, been there forever. You went out and started a business, and the failure rate on new businesses is really high. So they say, let me see 2 years of established history in that business, and we'll allow you to do that. Whereas a lot of times you just change jobs, we'll go, okay, it's a continuation of your previous job because it's similar employment. When you go from a salary to a self-employed, we gotta start over. It's 2 years.
And then, what about if the spouse is taking a position where they have regular income? Salary job?
You mean coming out of self-employed to a salaried job?
Well, one of them.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, one of them will be salary, but the other one might be self-employed.
We should take a look at that situation.
Okay.
Bring it over, we'll take a look at it.
I'll come over with
Every situation can be.
Because, you know, sometimes you're looking at something and they say, well, you know, maybe you ought to think about this before you do that. And we don't always think ahead because we're not aware of all the ramifications.
Right. I think it's best to take that person, sit down, do a complete credit analysis, and give them a game plan. Okay? Sorry, Russ.
You're fine.
You can go ahead.
You're answering their questions. That's good. Yeah, we're done. Thanks for being
Okay,
here.
thanks, guys.
All right. So we're going to get going on Business Builder here. in terms of Business Builder, Business Builder is a CRM, so it's a client or a customer relationship manager. I'm gonna shut this front light off so you guys can see a little better. So we're gonna go through, and for the most part, what I'm gonna do is walk you through the features and things that Business Builder has. If you have questions, let's talk about them, and I'm also gonna show you how to get it set up, because there's a few setup things that you need to do with Business Builder to have it be really effective for you. So Brad asked the question of what's the difference between Business Builder and Zap. So you can see here I'm logged into 21 Online, and you've got Business Builder over here, Zap here in the middle. So really the two systems are similar in terms of it's a great place to keep track of your sphere of influence. There are some advantages and disadvantages to both systems. Now the good news is, and this is somewhat of a pain, but the good news is you can actually manage people and have the systems talk to each other. It's got to be more of a manual process to have them talk to each other, but you can actually track your people in both systems if you wanted to. So right now for me, here's kind of what I would say the advantages or disadvantages of between the two systems. And we'll go through actually Zap. I think it's next Thursday, if I remember right, is when we're going to go through that system. But Business Builder, the advantage of Business Builder right now, I think of the two systems, in a lot of ways, I think Business Builder is the better system right now. But again, it depends on what you're wanting to do with your people. So in terms of Business Builder is great in terms of doing print stuff. So if you're wanting to do any print marketing, create flyers, those type of things, Business Builder is a great way to go about that versus in Zap right now, there is not any way to do a flyer or anything like that. So think of it as the Zap system is going to be better for tracking your people online. So keeping track of the people through an online version, meaning sending the emails and having them log in, and it's going to keep track of the properties they're looking at and things, versus Business Builder is not going to keep track of what they are looking at online to let you know how ready they are to buy or sell. So that's kind of the difference. But so we're going to get into it. So to get into Business Builder, you log into 21 Online first. Once you're in 21 Online, if you've never logged in before, I think the button right here says activate, I think the first time.
No, it reads get started now.
Oh, get started now. Okay, good. Yeah, so get started now. So you would just click on that to get started now. Once you log in, so the other thing actually to talk about quickly on that is when you click to log into the system, if for some reason
This Oracle requests your user password. This thing I can't get in.
Okay. Did you probably had it bookmarked? Did you access it through a bookmark?
I did.
Yeah, that's why it's not
why.
working yet. So you gotta
Alright.
go to
Yeah.
21 Online.
Do you know why that happens? Why you can't bookmark?
I'm not
That's
sure
so
why.
weird.
Well, I think you can bookmark it, but you'd have to bookmark it before you put your password and stuff in. If you do it afterwards, it pops it up and gives you this screwy thing. So you can bookmark it, you just have to do it beforehand. Question, Cheyenne, or you just straight? Oh, you were like
Sorry.
just stretching back there, right? Okay. So, the one thing to keep in mind as well, the other issue that people tend to have is if you click on Business Builder to access it, and it starts to act like it's going to load it and then brings you back to this page, it's because you've got your pop-up blockers on, and so it won't work. You've got to turn off the pop-up blockers. So those are really the two main issues that people tend to run into with Business Builder is either they bookmarked it and you have to log in first and then go, and it's if the pop-ups are on. So
Okay, without using the bookmark, it did the same thing to me.
all right, well, go back through it again. Let's see.
Okay.
See, that's what happens at home at my house too, when the computer's not working. If I stand next to it, it works. So that's what always
Thanks,
tends to
Chris.
happen.
I'll
That's
have to have
with
you
my
back.
wife. My wife will do that all the time. This isn't working, and I go stand there, and it works just fine. So if you ever have a problem, just let me come stand next to you, and it'll work. All right, so so now that we're in here, so the first place that it's going to always take you to when you first log in is to this dashboard. So you'll see up here it's got dashboard in the top left here. So the dashboard is going to bring up any new contacts or any upcoming reminders that you have. I'm going to adjust the screen on this a little so that you can see it a little better here. Is that
What is your username to get in?
what's mine? It's Russell.Orchard. Oh, Orchard.
Is it-
It's going to be your first name dot last name at century21.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so you'll see it's on the dashboard here. It's going to bring up any new contacts. Now, so anytime you put somebody in the system, they're going to first show up as a new contact. As long as their status is a new contact, which you can see right here, then it will always show up here. The idea of that new contacts is every time you log in, it's there to remind you you need to do something with me as a contact. So if you are for some reason wanting someone to show up there as a reminder that way, just change their status to new and it'll always show up there. As soon as I remove the status, so if we take this mini here and I change the status on this from new to hot, you can see she disappeared now out of my new contacts list there. So as soon as you change it, it'll remove them from that new contacts list. The other thing down here is upcoming reminders. So when you put in a reminder for yourself to call somebody, this is where it's going to show up when you first log in. Now it doesn't always show up, or shouldn't say it that way. It shows up a few days before your task. So if I had put in there that I wanted to call somebody tomorrow, it'll show up a few days before that. It doesn't show up just on the day of. So it gives you, and that's why it's called upcoming reminders. It's letting you know what's coming up. But so here's what I want to start it with first, is we're just going to go through and get the setup things done. So to get the account set up, you'd come up here to where your name is in the picture. If I click on that, then it gives me the option here of website, my account, email settings, or leads. Now, the one thing let me talk about real quick. So this system is powered by Market Leader. So Market Leader is a third-party company that has made an agreement with Century 21 to provide this to the agents, but they do it for a reduced cost. So Century 21 pays for this on your behalf. So it's not like it's free. It's paid for by Century 21 for you, but it's at a reduced rate because it's all of Century 21. And the other reason Market Leader does it is they're using this as a way to try to get you to sign up for an account with Market Leader. So what you're provided with here is a standard version or a basic version of this system that's called Business Builder, provided by Market Leader. But you'll see here this upgrade to Pro. Market Leader, of course, would love you to upgrade to Pro, so I personally would say it's not worth doing because we have Zap and those type of things. But so it shows a website on here, but we actually don't have a website with the basic version. If I click on that, then it's going to say you've got to upgrade to Pro. The cost to upgrade to Pro is $99 a month is what they charge. So yeah, it's steep. So you're going to hear me talk about some of the Pro features and things on here, but I am not trying to sell you on Pro because I don't think I would sign up and pay for it, because any of those features, such as the website, you have provided for you with Zap. And we can connect the two systems. So I'm not going to click on the website one there, but I am going to come down here into the My Account settings. So I'm clicking on the My Account. Now this is going to bring up the account settings here. So the first thing that it's giving you the option to do is to review your account settings here. So you'll notice that it's got my name in there, it's got an email address, and when you look at it, you're going to have one that's like this that has your login and email address, the c21-email.com. Don't worry too much about that. So yes, it's another email address, but don't worry about it, because there's an external email here, which you'll see it has my Gmail in there, and you can just make sure to change that to whatever you want as your external email. And the reason that's important, so let me click on the edit up
There was a
here.
mistake here, that's why I couldn't
So anything that's in these boxes I could change. So I could change this login email, the website email address I can't change, and the CRM email I can't change. This one I can. But the important piece on it here is this marketing and reply to email. So it gives you the option of which one do you want to use for your marketing and reply to email. So I think it defaults to this c21-email.com, but if you just click the drop down, you can switch it to your Gmail or whichever email address you're using.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt for a second?
Absolutely.
So I was going through the get started and everything, and it told me that it sent an email with my login and my password, but I don't have it, so should I just wait and call the help desk?
Yeah, you shouldn't need a login.
It said that to me and then I still was able to log in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you
Okay.
should be fine.
Well, because when I went back to 21 Online, it still had the get started, it didn't have the
Oh, really?
heuristic.
Huh.
So that's why I was questioning.
Yeah, you shouldn't need that other
Okay.
login and email address.
Just have her stand next to you.
Yeah, do you want me to come stand next to you and then it'll work just fine, I promise.
Maybe it will.
Yeah. All right, so the rest of this, really, you don't need to do anything with.
Just call to action, nothing?
Oh, yeah, so the call to action is, if you wanted to, really, actually, it is nothing, is probably the best way of saying it. This would be tied to the website that's on there, but you have to be pro to get the website.
Oh,
So
okay.
really, it's nothing, because if you don't have the website. And again, I'm not trying to sell you on signing up for it, because I wouldn't, but that's what that would be for. So, but the call to action would be something like, call me for more information or something like that. It would be a call to action. So this is actually a new piece we've added here, this social media options. So you can go through and add social media things, which again, really is not, there's no benefit to adding the social media here, because really that's gonna only be tied to if you're using their website, which again, we've already talked about. So, but the images, this one is important. So you've got the two different images here. You'll see the one is the website image, the other's the marketing image. So this one will be any image that you would want to show up on any online things that you're doing internet-wise. This would be for marketing pieces. So as you create flyers and things, that is what's going to show up, that picture there. So if I were to click on edit to change one of those, it tells you the minimum specs that you have to have for the picture, which this one for your marketing image, you want to make sure you have a high resolution one so that when you're printing it off, it actually looks good, not grainy and those type of things. Yeah. And then the marketing logo is going to be it should just default you automatically to the Century 21. Okay? So that's it really on the settings piece. On the office info, on this one, the only thing you're going to want to do on this one is, unless they've changed it, but one of you that's just logged in for the first time can tell me, usually your time zone defaults to Pacific time. Is that right for you guys that are
Yes.
there? Yeah, so you'll want to just click edit and change it to Mountain Time.
Where is that one?
The office info.
So under office info, were you able to get in? Kim?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even have to stand next to you. We just had to talk about
You're
it.
just close enough.
I was close enough, that's right. So that's the only thing really on this office info that you'll probably need to change is just the time zone there. The next one is the activity alerts. So on your activity alerts, again on this, probably it doesn't matter a whole lot on this, and I'll explain why, but it'll have your phone number, your email address, and then here you're just deciding what kind of alerts and how do you want to be alerted on it. So if a new contact comes in, do you want to be texted or emailed or both or neither? And the new contact really, again, why I say some of this probably doesn't matter too much is the new contact right now, the way on the basic account, the only way you're going to get a new contact is you really putting them in there. So you don't have to worry about that one as much. Again, if you had the website and you were marketing the website and people were signing up on your website, then this is where it would then notify you. A contact updated information, so that's if somebody goes in and updates their information, which again is going to be tied more to the website. New message from a contact. So this one though, if the contact does send you a message through the system, how do you want to be alerted? By text or email? And again, you can turn them one on and one off, or both on, both off, however you want to do it. And a new message from a non-contact again, which is not going to happen to you without the website. And new recommendations on the website, again, without the website, so it doesn't matter too much. But the next one is the MLS setup. So this one's going to be one that is going to be very helpful for you. So you should have an agent ID already in there, which should be there by default. And then the other one is the office IDs. Now, for you guys that are just logging in, do you have an office ID in there, or is it blank?
It's blank.
Okay, so you'll want to add one. So it used to be that it would let you add as many offices as you want, but it'll only allow you to add 2 offices now. And I found that out the hard way because somebody had told me it wouldn't let them do more than that. So I had 4 because we had the 4 offices. I deleted one thinking I could add it back in just to see, and it won't let me. So you can only add 2. So the number, if you're in this office, the number that you want to put in is this 100-18198. That is the office ID for this office. And then let's see, we need to get Centerville as well, right?
Yes, please.
Do we have anybody from Orem here?
Or,
Okay, we'll get both of those for you too. So the Centerville office, the number is, it's 100-18579.
Can you repeat that again?
100-18579.
And is there a rule about how you list those together?
No.
Okay.
And then, let's see, the Orem office, the number is 100-18578.
So should we have like this one and Centerville?
Yeah, I probably would say to do this main office and Centerville, and for you guys, the main office and Orem.
Can you do Centerville one more time, Rose?
The Centerville?
Yeah.
100-18579.
Yeah.
Just 7.
So can you label them, or they can only be just numbers?
Just numbers is all they can
For
be.
Centerville?
Uh-huh.
100-18579.
And what is that?
What?
Yeah, so
What
let me
was this
explain
one?
why this is important. So,
18198 is this one.
yeah, this office is the 18198.
And so when I put
What
them
center
in.
is that 181?
What's that? Which one are you asking, Daryl?
What is Centerville?
Centerville was the
Last one?
579, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the 100-18579 is Centerville. So the importance of this, what it's going to do, you'll see, is when we go in to make flyers, by having these IDs in there, it'll pull the listings from those offices so that when you're going to make a flyer, that it's available. So really, that's where I guess I would say, to me, I'm just saying, because you can put 2, you might as well put 2 in there. But the important piece is just for your own office, so that your own listings and the office listings, if you were doing an open house or just listed around there, that you can pull from the office listings.
I tried to make a flyer before adding that,
And
and
it-
I was really frustrated.
Yes, yeah, but by doing this now, it'll automatically pulls the photos, everything, just makes it look really good, so.
So can you edit a number once it's in there wrong?
Yeah, just delete it,
Okay,
and then,
all right.
and then I'll stand next to you so you type it right.
I just put them both in the same list. If I ask you, is there any rule to adding these numbers? You said no.
Oh, well, yeah, you gotta put the right number.
Well, I put the numbers in sequence, and that you can't do that. You have to put them in separately.
Oh, yeah, 2 different offices separately, yes, correct. Although, good try, that would have been a good way. If it would have worked, that would have been the secret to add all of the offices, right? All right, so that's the MLS setup. So really, once you've done that, you're never gonna have to do it again, but that's just kind of the first time. The next things on here, really, this next one is orders. This one would be, so you can do print things through Express Docs through here, and if you do that, this is where it would give you the history and show your print orders and all that kind of stuff. You will see in your account history, there's no charge to you for the monthly subscription because Century 21 just pays for it. And then billing and shipping, again, this would be that same thing. So when you go and create some of the print marketing stuff, if you wanted to have it billed and shipped, bill you and shipped other places, this is where you would set up your payment methods and things. And then the mobile is you can download an app, so this you can go to get the Market Leader app. You have to, in order to tie your account to it, if you wanted to do that, you have to create this PIN. Once that's created and you go into the app, you plug in the PIN, which then ties them together. So. All right, next one is the email settings here. This email settings is going to come with a default email signature in there. So you can just look at that and decide what, if anything, you want to change on it. This is an HTML editor, so you can add photos, you can add links, those type of things. The default email that it plugs in here is going to be that c21-email.com. So if you want to change it, just change it to whichever one you want and then click save on there. Now, the one thing that I will tell you that you probably don't want to do, which sometimes people will do this, is sometimes people want to go and add their photo in right there. I would recommend not doing that, and the reason I would say not to do it is because of under those account settings we did back here under the My Account, those photos that are there, some of the emails and things that you do automatically already grab the photo from there. So if it's grabbing that photo and you have one here, it'll put your photo twice on the marketing piece and can make it look kind of screwy. So.
Look at me.
Yeah, exactly. Here I am. So that's the email signature. The next one is the email quick text. Now, I wish they would name this something a little differently than what they do, because it makes it sound like it's going to be a text message, but that's not what this is. So the email quick text, think of it as being an email template that you're creating. So if you've got certain emails that you send out to people, that you send the same email out over and over again. So for instance, let's say you met somebody out prospecting, got them as a lead, and you were going to add them into the system, and you have like, here's the email I always send to people when I first add them into my system. Then rather than having to retype it every time or having it saved like in Microsoft Word that you go in and copy and then paste it, you can do the same type of a thing with this. So it's got some default ones in here that is like this address of homes for sale or whatever.
Well, my default, there's only one.
Oh, is there only one?
Why get pre-approved?
Oh, okay.
So how do you add one?
Good to know. So to add one, let me go back here. You just would click on the create new. So if I click on create new, then you're just going to put in a title here, which really this is just the name of the message. So you would just name it, first email I send out or second email I want to send out, whatever it is that you want to name it. And the only purpose of that name is so that when you go to select it, when you're sending out the email, you know which email it is. You would then go down here, create the body of the email or the text, and again, you can add photos, links, all that kind of stuff, and then just save it. Once it's saved, let me back out of here, then it'll show up in this drop down here.
It won't let you save it until you have a body in the text.
Correct. Yeah, you got to type stuff in there. So it's the only one you have is why get pre-approved?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Will it automatically put your signature on there?
Yes.
Or you have to put it in?
Yeah, great, good question. Do not add your email signature on here because it'll automatically add it when you do that. And I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit here.
So this is not set up so you can have it personalized. So it'll say, dear George, and then the next one will be dear Susan.
Actually, with this right here that has mail merge things, so yes, you can.
Okay.
So what I would want to do though is I would come and well here, let me cancel out of here and we'll do a different, we'll set one up. Do a create new. So I would come down here, I would say, dear, contact first name.
Oh, okay, then it will draw from your list.
Yep.
That you select to send out.
Yep, so that way when you do send it out, it'll look like it's a personalized thing. So, and these are the different tokens you have available, as their address, phone number, all that kind of stuff. And then, yep, just you can save it, and it's saved. The next thing here is this templates, which really, again, this one is probably not, a lot of these things are not going to be that crucial, because this one is for if they registered on your website, which again, if you're not paying for the pro, doesn't really matter. This one though would be for when you do set somebody up in the system. So when you manually enter a contact in, this is the email that would be sent out. So you can modify this and then just save it there. And then, again, this is a pro feature down here, the CMA thing, so I wouldn't really worry about that. This integrations is new, so I don't even know what this is. Oh, so it's just saying you could integrate the system with these different systems that are out there. Okay. So really, that's just it as far as setting up. So really, I just wanted to walk you through on this piece of it, how to go through and get it set up. Now let's go through some of the different features of it. So again, if I click here, it's going to take me back to the dashboard. So if I click on this again, you'll see there's a performance evaluator, which is a pro system, pro thing. The site activity, which is pro. Broker, you're going to probably not have that. I have it because I'm a broker. But the contacts phase. So under contacts, if I go to click on the all contacts, what this will take me then to is to see all of the contacts that I have in the system. And what you want to do in here under this all contacts, it will default to, this is the search criteria that's going to be the default, is it notice it has the status is checked for everything except for trash. So in this system, usually what I recommend is not to delete people, because once you delete them, they're gone. You can't ever get them back. So instead, usually what I say is when you're ready to get rid of someone as a contact, the best thing is just come over here to their status, click on that and change it to trash, and then it just puts them in, they're still in the system, and you could go find them again. If I wanted to see anybody that's in trash, just check that trash box and hit search. But the default is going to not include people that you have put in the trash. Does that make sense?
So you can delete or trash.
Yes, I recommend don't delete though, because once you delete, they're gone. You could never get it back.
And if you lose everything,
So yeah, which is fine. Just make sure that you really intend to delete them if you're going to click delete on them. Okay? So from here, this is where I would just do searches. So I can type in either the full name or a partial name there. I can search for a phone number or a primary email address. And then again, when you're going to redo the search, just hit the reset. It'll reset it, bring everything back up again. Okay? So from here, I could come down and find one of the contacts. I can click on the name. It will then bring up the contact to where I can now manage this contact. So you can see from within here, I can keep track. I can add a birthday campaign, so I can keep track of people's birthdays and their purchase anniversary. So if you put people in here and you put in their birthdays in here, that way you can set it so that it'll remind you to give them a call, those type of things on there. But here's all the information that way. The notes section here is just going to give you the last note that you had typed in. It shows right here. Now, so the way they have this set up from within your contacts is a little kind of, to me it's weird, but maybe it's good, but it's kind of weird to me. So you've got a notes section here, but then further down there's a history section. So the notes section will only show up right here as a note. The history stuff will shows up down in the history. So when I'm adding one, if I was going to type a note in right here, I would type in my notes, and then I just decide from this drop down, do I want it to add it to notes and history, just notes, or just history? So really, the only difference again is just the notes is going to just be the very last note you put in here. So I guess, I don't know why you would do this, but I guess what you would do is if you put something in as a note that you just wanted it here as a note, but you later on didn't need it kept in the history for anything, I guess is why you would do it. Yeah.
when you do notes, does it automatically put it in history? Or you
No,
have
that's
to-
what I'm saying, that's what's weird to me, is if I do it just as a note, it'll put it here until I put in another note, and then it'll get rid of this one.
So where's the history window? I didn't see it. I
Yeah,
saw
we
it.
haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay, I just scrolled down and didn't find it.
Oh, so they moved it. You have to click on the tab up here then. There's a tab up at the top. It used to be down at the bottom. Yeah, they've changed it. So there's just a tab here. So to get to the history, I click on that tab, and then it would give me all the history of things from that.
So if you want to keep track of stuff, you really pretty need to do it in both notes and history. Because
Yeah,
it's
that-
gonna,
yeah.
even if you do notes and history, notes is gonna go away eventually, and then you'll lose the history.
No, you'll never lose the history piece. So as
No,
long as
but
when
you'll
you
lose
type
the
it in,
notes.
you select here on this drop down, do notes and history, then it'll show up in both places.
Right.
The note will change, but then
But then you'll still have the
keep
history.
it in the history.
That way you
Yeah.
have history.
Yep, and like I said, to me, I don't get what their thinking was on this. I understand to put the last note here just so that quickly you could see it. You could just see what your last note was. To me, they should just all be that way.
I would think maybe notes could be used more of like a to-do list.
Yeah, I
That
guess.
You would go away,
Yeah,
but
they
you'd
would
still
go
want
away.
to keep history. so
That's my thinking,
So
so.
you would go back and check.
Yeah, my recommendation, just to always do it as notes in history, because what does it hurt to keep, even if you had something you didn't need to know, what does it hurt, so. Anyway, but that's where you'll keep track of the things as you talk to people, that kind of stuff, you type in your notes here. This section down here is gonna be where you'll keep track of their addresses. So if you had somebody that had investment properties or whatever, you can put in multiples of addresses there, not just their primary address. This lead router piece, the system is tied with lead router as well. So this is just saying what was the status in lead router on this person.
Can you just do like a brief explanation of the lead router? I don't understand.
Yeah, sure. So lead router is the system that actually tracks it. So you'll actually probably, when you get a call from it, it actually says Zap, the Zap system is calling you now. But so think of it as if somebody's on century21.com looking at properties and they want to request information, when they request the information, it then puts it into the lead router system, which the lead router system then looks for who should I give this lead to, and the criteria it's going to look at is first is it a Century 21 listing, and if it is and it was Dan's listing, then the system goes, oh, okay, let's call Dan. So your phone starts to ring, you'd answer it, and it'll say it's the Zap system, but really it's the lead router is what's doing it. So because the three systems all talk to each other, lead router, business builder, and Zap all kind of talk to each other. So really, it says lead router status. You're going to know it more as the Zap system, but that's what lead router is.
So when we do the sign writers, does that go through lead router or is that straight to us?
Now the sign writers, it depends on what you're doing with that. If you're using dot signal, then that runs through dot signal, not through lead router. So two different systems. So this would be if there was any secondary detail, you could put that in here. There's buyer requests, so you could create buyer requests. The idea of this would just be a place that you can keep track of what they're looking for in a home. Not as crucial on this system of keeping track of that, because without the separate website that you have to be pro to get, you know, if you had created this, what they were looking for, and you had their pro system, it would be searching the website and sending them properties, which you can do that with Zap. So again, that's why I wouldn't sign up for pro. So to edit any of those things, you would just click edit here. I could then change any of these things here, you know, their time frame, add secondary information, all that here. Okay. And then the other thing though that is cool that I like about this system is, let me get back down here. So you'll see under this, I can either click here to show all, which will expand the emails, the reminders, the campaigns, and the groups, or I could just do them one at a time. So if I click on this emails here, the cool thing with this system is as I send emails out of the system right here, it'll keep track of the date that I sent it, the who I sent it to, how big it was, and did they open the email or not. So the nice thing about this system is it will track if they are opening the email, and then if you have links in it as well, it'll tell you if they actually clicked on the link or not. So great way of actually sending an email to people and finding out, did they actually open it? And if they opened it, did they actually click on it? And then when they reply to you in an email, it'll show up back here where it'll show the date that they sent an email back to you. So the good thing about this system that I like on this piece of it is it's a great way to keep track of every email you send out to a client, and anything they send back, it's gonna keep track of it all right there.
So what you're saying is you can do like an attached document or a link to something
You
like
could put
maybe
links.
Google Docs?
You could,
And it will track if they go look at it.
if they open it, if they open the email, and if they click on any
Do
links.
you do it in the email or do you do it here?
You would do it through the email in this system, which I'll show you where that's at.
So how did you get to this window?
I just expanded down at the bottom where it says emails right here. I just clicked on where it says emails and it opens it up.
Okay, hang on, I'm just trying to find the same place here.
So I'm still just in the contact, scroll down to the bottom. Darryl?
Russ, is there any other outlet for this instruction in case I forgot something you said?
I'm recording it,
Okay, good. That's good.
And then
so you can get it that way, but,
No, like Dot Loop has a instruction guide.
yeah. Yeah, and we haven't added that there, but what I would say is just I'm recording this and I'm doing the screenshot version, so where you can follow along.
Oh, fair enough. Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Is that gonna be on YouTube or?
It'll be on the YouTube under the Peak Agent Training channel. So if you just go into, after today, go into YouTube, type Peak Agent Training Business Builder, just do a search in YouTube for that, this will pop up.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So that's the email section. The next one is all the reminders. So this is where I would add a reminder. So if I wanted to remind myself to call the person next week to check in for whatever, I just would right here, click up here where it says add a new reminder. It's going to open a box. I would put in here, is it a task, is it a phone call or a meeting? What do I want to remind myself on it? Oh, see, I told him he can watch it on YouTube, he just left. It's like, I'm out. See ya. Go ahead.
Is this is kind of off the wall, but can you connect this with Google Calendar at all? Sync or-
I am not aware of if you could do that or not. I don't believe so.
Will it send you an email?
No, it does not. It doesn't send you an email. You have to, but when you first log in, if you had a reminder in there, when you first log
So you
in on
actually
that
have to go
dashboard.
into the system.
Yeah,
Have
that's
you
the
used
downside.
the app?
I haven't tried it with the app, so I don't
I
know if
wonder
the
if
app
the
would.
app
The
would
app maybe would.
Pop stuff up for you.
That's possible, and I haven't tried that. I don't know.
When it says, where it says in the block, add contact,
Uh-huh.
say, does it search the database?
Yes.
To see if you got one?
Yes.
Okay, so if you start typing John,
Yeah.
it'll start bringing up all the Johns.
Well, so yeah, if I started like that, if I started typing in, there's
Okay, then you can
Mickey or
pick
Minnie.
one, okay.
Yep. So I would just add in whatever the reminder is, the date and time I want it to remind me, and then it'll show up in the reminders, okay? We close that. The campaigns section, so you can set people up on campaigns. So again, you can do campaigns on business or Zap as well. Right now though, they haven't built out as many good campaigns on Zap. So kind of where I started this whole thing was talking about the difference of Business Builder and Zap. There's advantages and disadvantages. In the long run, I think you'll eventually want to have everything done in Zap. But for right now, if you're wanting to add the people to an email campaign, the campaigns in here are better than the ones in Zap right now. They haven't built enough of them for Zap yet to really be worth it. So the campaigns would be right here. So from here, I can add the contact to campaigns, or I can go to the campaigns just clicking on either of these links. So if I wanted to add this contact to a campaign, again, I just click on it. It's going to bring up, here's the different options that I have available. And if I just click on add, it's going to then add, I'm not going to do it, but it'll add the person to the campaign, and then it'll just start running that campaign.
Can we create our own campaigns
Yes.
on this?
So yes, you can create your own, although probably what I would say, again, is I think in the long run, Zap's going to be a better place, and you can create your own in Zap. I would almost say if you're going to go and create them, I would do it in Zap rather than here.
Well, I'm wondering, because I use Sharper Agent,
Oh,
And they've
okay.
got lots of campaigns
Do
that
that.
I could
Copy and paste them. Oh, yeah. So, but either way then, yeah, you could do that.
Do they have preloaded campaigns, and so you can look at them and see what they're gonna be doing?
Yep, I'll show you where you would do that in just a minute. But from here, this would just be where you'd go to add them to the contact. You can add them from the other spot as well. The last thing is one of the things that I really think is cool about this system actually, and that's these groups. So the groups section is you can take your contacts and put them into groups. And you can have as many groups as you want, and you can add as many people to a group as you want. So that's one of the powerful things that I really actually like about this system. This one is the groups. So let's say that I wanted to add this person to a group. I could either create a whole new group if one didn't exist, just by typing in the name of it and then clicking create there for create new group, or I can come down here and add them to a group. And this will show all the different groups that I have available. So when I click on that, you can see here's the different contacts that I have, or groups that I have available. Yeah, you like that one, jerk? Yeah, so when you come across a jerk, you can add them to that group. So. Anyway, so you can see, and you can create as many groups as you want, add the people to as many groups as you want to add them to, and add all of those things. The good thing with that is, what I can do is then I can actually keep track of the people. Let's say that for whatever reason, I don't know, I wanted to send an email out to people who liked fishing for some reason. I could have all the people in here that are in this fishing group, and then when I go to send the email, I can say, okay, just only send this people to or who are in the fishing. Or another way of thinking about it. Maybe what I do is go through and put people in and create groups based on Salt Lake County, Davis County, whatever. And so maybe I get a listing that's in Salt Lake County and I say, I want to send this to everybody who is interested in properties in Salt Lake County. And I could just go select that group and then, okay, here's an email to that group of people. Then that way when I get one in Davis County, I could do the same thing. Email everybody in Davis County. So like I say, you can create as many different groups as you want, add the people to as many groups as you want, and it just makes a great way for marketing to them.
Okay, you said you can create any group. Say you got Davis County marketing piece you want to do, but you want to send it to buyers. Can you click two groups and have them combined?
I believe so.
So I could hit buyers that I have and...
Well, so here this would be just to add them to the group. But yes, but then when I go to send it, when we go into the email section, we'll try it and see if it'll let me do it. I'm not 100% sure if you can choose two different groups, but I think you can.
Combine them so you don't...
I think so, but we'll try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can add Century 21 agents, right?
Uh-huh.
Where's the best place to get all the emails for everybody?
Probably the best place I would recommend is go to c21everest.com. Just go to the company website, c21everest.com, and then there's a spot there that I think it's under About, and you'd go to Our Agents, and then it'll give you their emails. Anyway, so groups is something that I think is really cool. So pretty much that's what's contained within this contact itself. You've got listing alerts here, but again, without the website, I wouldn't worry about that. And then the history here is where I would go if I wanted to look at what is the past history things with that person. Okay? So to add a contact, right here is where I would go to add a contact. If I just click add contact, it'll bring it up. I just fill out the contact information and save. The next one is here is the manage groups. So that's what we were just talking about, is all the different groups. So if I come into here, this group section, again, I could create a whole new group from right here if I want. But here is where I can see, here's all the groups that I have, how many people are added to each of the groups, and then I can edit them or delete that group if I want to from there. So that's just a place to keep track of your groups. And then import and export, so you can import or export people out of the system here. So let's get into the marketing stuff. So under the marketing, the options are Marketing Center, My Campaigns, and My Designs. I usually just recommend going to Marketing Center. Once I'm in the Marketing Center, then from there I can just decide, okay, what is it that I'm wanting to do marketing-wise? Am I wanting to do a monthly newsletter? Here's where I can again access My Campaigns or My Designs, different images, or mailing lists. But the main place where you'll end up in this marketing center is going to campaign templates, email marketing, or print marketing. And so that's usually where I say to start. When you're going into the marketing is just first deciding, am I wanting to look at campaigns? Am I wanting to create an email marketing piece or a print marketing piece? So let's just say we're gonna do a print marketing piece we wanna do. So I click here on print marketing. That is gonna now open up and show, okay, here's all the designs that are available. There's 243 designs for print marketing that I have to choose from. So from here, I could either just scroll through and look at all 243, or if I know what I'm wanting to do, I could just type in keywords here. So let's say that I wanted to do a just listed. I could just type in here, just listed, and then come down here and search. And that's going to give me all the pieces. So there's 26 different just listed pieces that are available to choose from. So that's usually how I recommend is you probably don't want to scroll through all 243, but just type in something of basically of what you're looking for. Now, from here, because we had tied the office, we put in that office ID for it. If I want to use these and just pull the stuff from the MLS, then I can say, okay, I only want to see the listing enabled ones. So what listing enabled means is it's going to pre-populate the form with the listing information. So if I put that in here, you'll see I guess all 26 of them were. I was thinking it would reduce the number. I guess not. Let me get rid of this just listed here. So here's how I would get rid of it. So there's only 41 pieces in here that are listing enabled. So if I get rid of that, it'll go back to the 243. So that's, just keep that in mind in terms of this listing enabled is just going to be if you're wanting to grab the stuff from the MLS, the pictures and all the data about it, okay? So let's just do one here. So I've selected that. We scroll down, choose which one we like. Let's say I want to use this one here. So I'm just going to select it. It's going to bring it up. Then from here, I can either just click personalize, which is not, it's just going to bring it up the template of it. But if I want to add the stuff from an MLS, I can either start typing in an MLS number or an address. So let's just throw in something there. So I start typing the address. Let's say it's this one here in Farmington that I want. As soon as I click personalize, it's going to go grab now the photos and everything from the MLS. And now you can see it's dropped it in there. It's created, really, it's taken all from the remarks section. Here's the address, price, all that stuff, property information. So really, I don't have to do anything other than add my headline right here. And then if I want anything, when I hover over it, see how it gets that red box around it? Anytime it does that, you could change it. So I could change that, I can change any of this, change any of that. Photos, you can just see I can change all this stuff. It's dropped in all my information down here, which I could change again if I wanted.
Can you switch the photos that it chose?
Yeah, great question. So if I wanted to change this photo, so you just click on it, and then once I've clicked on it, if I come down here and click, it has this replace here. So I hit replace, it's going to bring up here, and it gives me options of my images, which I could upload my own if I wanted, or I could use stock ones that they have available. Or MLS is going to say, okay, here were the different pictures from the MLS that it had. So I could scroll down and say I want to put that picture instead. So yeah, great question on that. So same thing with this one, just hit here to replace. This if I wanted to crop it, or if I wanted to delete it, I can do that right there as well. So yeah, this to me, the most powerful thing of Business Builder for me is creating flyers and things is what I think. Because you can see how simple I just created that. All I'd have to do is add the headline up there and print.
I don't see your picture on there. Can you add a picture?
So yep, if I wanted to add one to it, so let's see. I mean, I don't know if necessarily one was going to fit real good here, but if I wanted to, all I have to do is come up here and I can say add an image. It's going to put the image here, and then I just can take it and drag it to wherever I wanted to put it. Okay. Let's say I want to put it right here. And then from here, I would get the image. Oops. And I would either you know, I'd have to go to my computer probably to pull it up right here, or go to stock photos, whatever. I mean, obviously it's not gonna have my picture there, but you can see, I can throw that in there. And the same thing with text. If I wanted to add another text box, I could take that right here. Same thing, I can just put it where I want it, that text box, size it to what size I want it, and then I can type in information there. Once I've done that, then I just would hit save. Name it whatever I want to name it, or you can just leave it as custom headline. Save. Once I've saved it, so now you'll see it has my saved designs. So if I wanted to access it, I would just go back to that my saved designs. I say okay, exit out of here. It's got that, you can see it's got the photo I just threw in there. And then from here, I can either edit or I could download a PDF. So typically that's probably what you're gonna do most of the time, is you're just gonna download that PDF that you've created and then you just print it there at the office. The other option it gives me though is I could have Express Docs printed, in which case it's gonna cost me 66 cents for each item. So how many do I want? You know, you decide the finishing, all that.
It's because they have like special stuff on it.
Yeah. The stuff, the finishing
Well, I mean,
stuff.
say like the 66 cents, it's more
Right.
because it's prettier.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna look better for sure if they do it. So, but yeah, that's the different options, is I can do this, or I can do a non-UV coated, which, so then that just reduced it to 56 cents each. So. Anyway.
Or you can just print it for free here.
Yeah, or you can download the PDF and just print it here, okay? All right, let me go back to the marketing center again here. So that was the print marketing. The email marketing, the reason I want to show you that, same concept here. So there's 350 email marketing pieces. If I want the listing enabled, again, select that, drops it down to 15. But let's just say that we didn't want that. I'm just going to scroll down and grab something, it doesn't even matter. A birthday greeting here. So from here, I can do the same thing. I can either compose the email right from here, or if I wanted to personalize it, so if I wanted to add a photo, their name, whatever, I could personalize it. Well, in fact, it's actually just going to that real quick. So this is what it's going to look like in the email that I sent to them. But so if I wanted to add another picture or something here, it would be that same concept. I could just add in whatever I wanted to do, save it. Once it's saved, exit. And then you'll notice now it's given me this publish to web or share. So if I click on that, so I could either compose the email to send it right from here, or if I wanted to use it, put it on Facebook or something, I can either copy this URL and paste that into the social network, or I could just click this and it's gonna now bring up my Facebook. Well, I'd have to log in here. But once I log in, we'll put it right there to where I could then post it right on Facebook. So you could create a...
So you could post it to your clients, right? Is that what you're saying, you could post it right to your
Well,
client's
so I mean,
page?
with this one, with it being happy birthday, I wouldn't probably typically post it to mine, but no, it's gonna do it to post it to your...
Oh, to yours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, I guess even though it's posting it to mine, I could tag them in that once I was into Facebook, and then it would show up for them.
Because I was thinking because it was happy birthday, you would
But
post
yeah.
it directly to their page.
Yeah. So yeah, in that scenario, but I don't know that you
So
can
you
go
can't-
directly to their page.
You're sending them an email and this is the message you're sending them, right?
Yep, so if I click on compose email here, you'll see it's gonna pull me into the email area. It's dropped this in
Okay.
so that it shows for them. And then from here, I would just choose either put in the person's email address here or click the to box. And that's gonna bring up, and then from here, this is where I can then, I don't have any eligible contacts. Oh, there we go. So I could just choose any of these. Now, the reason it's showing only eligible contacts right here where it's showing this is because it's an email piece. If I had a contact in and didn't have an email address, they wouldn't show up as one of the eligible contacts because I don't have an email address. Does that make sense? Okay. So I would just choose all the people I wanted to send it to, and then once I've done that, from here I just hit send now. Now the other thing you can do as well is, let's say that I wanted to send this, let's say that I was going to send it to Kim for her birthday, but her birthday's not till Friday. I could come down here on this deliver, choose Friday, and it'll change it now from send to schedule. So I could create the whole email, hit schedule, and then it's set up so that then on Friday it'll automatically email her. So I could go through and do those for the whole week or the whole month or whatever, everybody's birthday, get it all set up, hit schedule for each one of them to send it, and then I don't have to worry about it, and every day it'll send out those emails.
Is this considered one of your contacts you make with an email on a SOI basis?
Yes.
And so this could be an important thing to do.
For sure.
Well, it's cool because you could even do your contact and do one and connect each one to each contact for the month, and it will send them all out.
Yep.
And you
Correct.
can- But you could do August, and then on there, it looks like probably in the contact detection. You could put
Details,
their
I think is what it said.
Details?
Yeah.
You could put it to pull from their date of birth. Can you pull that on that?
Don't know
There's
if
a,
it-
I've seen a button for a birthday campaign.
Yeah, there is a birthday
I
campaign that's
wonder-
tied to off that, but I don't know that, I think that's probably what you'd wanna do is the birthday campaign, would be better than this, but
Cool.
anyway. So that's the marketing, let me go back to Marketing Center here. So the same concept would be for the campaigns, I just come into campaigns. It's gonna then show me, here's all the different campaigns. So there's 39 campaigns available. And from here, you would just go through and look at it. So this one is a Stay in Touch holiday version. So you can see it's got 18 email steps that it will send out to them. And then what this one does is for each of the holidays, it just sends them an email, you know, for the 4th of July, for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, all of those different things.
So this particular one is per person, you have to go into each of their names to set it up, or can you send it to several different people with the dates set at the same time? How does that work?
So yes, you can do it for several different people. You would just, first thing I would do is say, choose this template. So it's gonna bring and load that campaign. So the first step in here is you could rename it if you wanted to. Second step is you go through and look at each of the things to make sure that you're wanting this to send it out. So this is a Stay in Touch campaign that also includes holiday things. So this first one is just establishing credit. And it's saying the first time it's going to send it out is going to be on the 21st. This one it's going to then say, do you know anybody relocating? It's going to send that on August 3rd. Then on September 4th, it's going to say it's Labor Day, relax, and it's going to send out this piece. So all of these things here, you're just looking at when is it going to be sending them out? What does it say in the subject line of the email? And is this how you want it to word? And if not, you can personalize it. So you could go through and change them all. But so you're just going to look at it, all 21 of these steps to make sure it's what you want it to be. So this one here is going to say on September 19th, it's going to tell you should make a personal phone call to the person. Go ahead.
Do you know if I can use like a few of these emails and then like combine campaigns and kind of, cause like I was looking at it and I like some of them, but some of them I don't like. But then there's some emails in another campaign that I like.
So you kind of have, yes, you can, but you have to kind of finagle it a little. So with the pro version, you could do kind of what you're talking about. With this version, what you would have to do is take this one here. Let's say you didn't like this one, but you liked a different one or whatever. You could, from here, what you would do is you'd have to come into here and click personalize and then go change that one to match what you're
Okay,
wanting
so
it
just
to
kind
be.
of manually enter.
Yeah, you'd have to
Why
manually.
does it have an X out there?
Because if I didn't want to send this one, like let's say maybe that this contact lived in Arizona and they don't do it's time to fall back, they don't adjust their clocks, I could just click the X and it'll remove that step.
Okay. So can you create your own campaigns on this one or not?
So that's the problem is with the non-pro version on here, what you have to do is you would have to go modify one of these ones and change it to a different step rather than, yeah, they won't let you create a new one without the pro version. So that's why I was saying if you're wanting to create them, I would do it in Zap, because in Zap you can. But in here, unfortunately,
And then you can delete a step or you can move them around too.
yeah. I mean, so it does show I can add a step here, but you see when I click on it, it says Go Pro today. So it won't let me. So they trick you. They make you think you can, but you can't. So, okay, so you go through each of these steps to look to make sure that you're good with all 21 of them. You'd either modify them, delete them, whatever. Then from here, so this is where you were asking about, can I add them to, multiple people or whatever? So from here, the options it gives me is I can add a whole group to this email campaign, or I can go through and select each contact to add to it. So if I just went through and said add this one, add him, it'll add all these people to that campaign. So that way I don't have to go to each individual contact to add them to the campaign. But yeah, unfortunately, it won't let you just go create your own new one from here. So that's where I'd say use Zap if you're wanting to do that. What questions do you have? That's
Can we have a workshop where we play with this thing and actually do something?
Sure.
I
that'd
have
be a great
another
idea.
question. So if you go to the main marketing page,
Uh-huh.
under campaigns, there's like a couple, so here.
So the main marketing and
And
then
then
you have
click to
campaign
the right,
templates
to the right of the main little picture, right,
over here.
yep, up,
This one?
yes.
Uh-huh.
And then the middle dot, so click right.
Okay.
This Life at Home, I like those newsletters, but when I click set up, it says nothing's found, yeah.
Huh.
But
So is that like a newsletter they put together for you?
it looks like it,
Looks
but
like
I
that's what it
can't
should
really.
be, but-
So then when I think I found it like in the templates under collections, or I found it somewhere, but it only
Well, so-
had like one.
Yeah, so if you go here to Marketing Center and then write this one, Marketing Monthly Newsletter,
Okay.
then it brings it up right here.
That's not the Life at Home though.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know on that.
Okay.
What I would probably recommend doing is just calling their support line.
Okay.
And my guess is what they're gonna tell you, oh, that's a pro feature, and you gotta go pro.
That's what I was thinking.
It's probably what it will be, cause yeah, I don't know why, unless, let's hit all types and search.
I forget where I found it last night. But and it had like May, June, and July, but then it didn't have any future ones to set up to like automatically send.
Let's see, is this it maybe? No? That's the My Campaigns.
Well, if you
Yeah, I
do
don't know.
if you do email campaigns, it's under the collection
Oh, is it?
or email marketing. Life at Home, and then it has it in Spanish too.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably just call.
Yeah, I would probably say just call. Unfortunately, I don't know on that one. What else? What other questions do you guys have?
I'm just curious if you think the app is valuable. Do you use that very much?
I actually have never used the app, so I don't know. I can't answer if that one is or not.
That's what I was using it on, was the app. No, never mind. It was through the website. It was the mobile version.
The mobile version, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for that one. Haven't done it
Okay.
to know. So I guess let me know if you try it.
Okay, I will.
Would the app be through, because isn't it through Century 21 that we get it for?
No, this particular one is going to be, it's just the Market Leader app.
Okay.
And so,
Because we have an account through Century 21, then we would be able to use that? Does that,
Uh-huh.
do you see what I mean? I'm questioning if that would be a pro feature too.
no, because, let me show you. Back here under the setup, under the, can't remember where it was at now. Mobile, right here, under the My Account under mobile. You just have to do this generate a pin, and then when you download the app, put in that pin, and then it brings your stuff in. But my guess is there probably are a bunch of the features of it that are pro.
Should I try it since I have?
Sure, if you want to.
What is the device that you're using? I love that. Is that
An iPad mini.
Oh, it is, okay. It's not your phone.
Well,
That's a little
So-
large.
I
mean-
A little large for
That's kind of it for the business builder. Here's what I would say is really the best thing for you guys to do is just get in and play around with it. You're not going to hurt anything, and if you have questions, let me know. I mean, I know quite a bit. Obviously, I don't know everything, as you've been able to tell, but the other thing is you can always just call their support line and ask questions of them as well. But
So for serious, could we set up a, what do you call it? I can't just find my word.
A workshop?
A workshop where we can actually play with it and generate some real stuff.
yeah, when do you want to do it?
Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, one of those 2 days when we're already here.
So Tuesday wouldn't work for me. Tuesdays I have other things in the afternoon, but I could do a Thursday if you wanted. Yeah. We could do we do this Thursday if you wanted after.
Chicken.
So, yeah, that's fine.
Are we gonna do anything on Zap today?
Today, actually, I'm not going to. I was thinking about doing some stuff on Zap, but then I saw that I had actually planned for next Thursday. So next Thursday, we're gonna go all through Zap, so.
Isn't it Zap and Dotloop together?
No, a week from Thursday. Not this coming Thursday will be Lead Gen, what's that?
Our schedule ends after next Tuesday on the sheet I have.
I'll give you a new one. So.
It never ends.
Yeah, yeah, it never ends. For me, especially.
It doesn't feel like it ever ends for me either.
Oh, all right.
What was our subject for Thursday?
Thursday's lead generation. So Thursday and then Tuesday is lead generation, and then next Thursday we'll do the Zap. We'll go through Zap.
Is it Zap and Dotloop or just Zap?
It's just Zap.
We just-
We did Dotloop last Thursday, right? We didn't. I wasn't here, but they did.
And then there's nothing the first week in August because of Mike Perry.
And then the first week of August, we have nothing because of Superstar Retreat.
So if we could do
Thank you
Tuesday
for
afternoon, or
saying
Thursday
that.
afternoon sometime, that'd be
Okay.
great. That's a good time for you.
Whatever works.
You'll be in Vegas right
So
after Superstar.
let's say 1:30.
Okay.
All right, well, thanks for being here. Just get in and play with it, though. And then I guess Thursday at 1:30, if you want to come, we'll mess around with it some more.